Hello, how's it going? My name's Adam. Welcome to a Duda Reviews. Wandavision, it's over. It's finished. That was it. It's the end. There's no more. That was the last one, unless there's some more in the future. But currently, as of 2021, which is the year I'm still currently in, it's over. That's it. It's done. Completely finished. How do I feel about it? It's a mixed bag, really. It was a twinge of disappointment, but overall, I think it was a fantastic show. I think it really kept people talking. I think Marvel did a really good job of bringing something new and refreshing and different to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel televisual universe in this particular case, and I think it was fantastic. So the episode starts with Wanda and Agatha having a big old flying battle in the middle of the street. They're flying around, shooting lasers. Agatha's full on witch mode with her like witchy makeup, witchy hair, and some like witchy, like weird witchy wing things she's got going on. Wanda is like pretty pissed off, so she's like really shooting these red lasers at her, going, fuck you, I've got my red lasers. They're not lasers, but they're like the witch powers, you know what I'm saying? And then White Vision shows up, and he's like, Wanda, hello, it's me, White Vision. I've come to caress you, but not really. I want to snap your fucking neck. So that she's like, oh shit, he's not good vision, he's bad vision. And then whoosh, boosh, good vision swoops in and like starts to have a big old fight with White Vision. So there's big old laser fights going on there as well. Flying laser fights into buildings and shit like that. You know, the usual shit that we usually see. And that Vision on Vision fight really reminded me of the old Superman 3 film where Superman was fighting Superman, and it was really good. And I really did enjoy the Vision fight of this episode. I thought it was really good. I thought the choreographing, execution, whatever you want to call it, looked really good visually to my eyeballs. I enjoyed it. The Wanda versus Agatha fights, not so much. You got a little bit boring, maybe because they were just sort of a little bit more static as to where they were going. It was just like, I'm shooting a laser at you, you shoot a laser back at me. But at the same time, there were some good little scenes, like the bit where Wanda like does this little whisper shit to Agatha's ear, and she's suddenly like transported back to the Salem witch trials where she's against the stake. And then she brings back all the old witches and they start like coming back to life zombie style. So that was pretty cool. But meanwhile, Monica and Pietro are in the house, and like, is it Pietro? Who the hell is this guy still? So they have a little tussle, a little bit of a fight. Monica realizes using her photon eye color beams that she realizes that Pietro is being controlled by Agatha via his little necklace thing that's glowing a nice, lovely purple. She rips that off his neck and then he's back to normal. And then we realize that he's actually Ralph Bonar.
You're Ralph Bonar?
Boner.
I mean, of the whole thing, this is the biggest letdown for me. Bar the lack of cameos, I was really hoping for some Doctor Strange, Mephisto, Nightmare, something to do with the multiverse of madness, something to do with the X-Men, something cool like that, but we got none of that. So that was kind of disappointing, because not because we just sort of, as Marvel fans, have plucked this out of nowhere. It was kind of like hinted at that we were going to be getting, especially Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany really fucked me off with this, because he was like in that interview, oh, I'm going to be acting with the really fabulous actor and the sparks are really going to fly because the chemistry between us was amazing. And he was talking about the scene where he's with himself, fighting himself, and he thought he was being really clever by saying that. But no, he wasn't being clever at all by saying that. He was being a dick by saying that, because he was leading us innocent, wide-eyed Marvel fans down a path of absolute bitter disappointment. So fuck you, Paul Bettany, for that, but also yay, Paul Bettany, for your fantastic acting in the whole thing, and well done for it. You did really good, but also fuck you. And Pietro is Ralph Bonar, like Agatha, who is he to Agatha? I still don't really know who he was to Agatha, other than he was the Ralph that she was always banging on about, going, oh, Ralph didn't like this, and Ralph wouldn't do this, or Ralph wouldn't fuck me that time I wanted to be fucked, or whatever. Ralph, you know what I mean? The fuck is Ralph Bonar? Back to the fight with Agatha and Wanda releases the townsfolk from their hex spell. So they're actually back to normal as their regular selves, and they're like, help me, let me out of here, you please let me out, I'll do anything. And she sort of starts to release the hex and goes, okay, so she starts opening it up, and it's sort of gradually coming back so that it's not quite so wide, and it's sort of helping the people back to them become themselves. But at the same time, what does this mean for Vision and the children? It means they're fucked, basically. Agatha reveals the source of her power is from the Darkhold book, and starts going on about how Wanda's powers actually exceed that of the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know if that's actually the case in the comics, because I don't really know. Because I always thought the Sorcerer Supreme was like the Sorcerer Supreme. He was like the Supreme, you know. But if she's more powerful than Doctor Strange himself, who doesn't make an appearance in this show at all, which is disappointing, as I've previously said, then that's pretty cool, I guess. Due to the fact that Wanda has opened up the hex, Hayward, the stupid sword guy, sees his way in, so he's like, right, I'm going in there. We're going in, everybody, let's go in. And I don't know what he's planning on doing when he gets in there, because what's he going to do against Wanda? Not much, but he's going inside the hex. I guess he's like trying to get White Vision, but didn't he send White Vision in there in the first place? So like, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, he's going like, let's go in the hex. The Vision on Vision battle, meanwhile, continues, and they're still battling back and forth. They smash into houses and shit like that. And then they have this big philosophical talk about if a boat is a boat, but yet it doesn't have any of the original panels or any original decking of the actual boat, is it still the same boat? Meaning Vision is a totally new Vision, but is it still Vision? And then he like zaps his brain a little bit and gives him memories of the old, the good Vision zaps White Vision's brain and reminds him of his memories and shit like that, of Wanda and everything. And then he's like, oh, I am Vision. And then he flies up into the air and flies through the roof and just disappears. So that's the last we see of him. But that basically means that Vision is back in the MCU now. He's not dead now, he's alive now. So we'll see Vision again in future MCU films, which is cool. Meanwhile, Hayward is inside the hex and he shoots a gun at the twins. Monica jumps in front of them and sort of photon phases the bullets through her and manages to dispense of the bullets. And also little Wiccan does a little thing and stops a bullet and drops it to the ground. Darcy makes her only and very brief appearance in this episode by ramming her little clown truck into Hayward. And then she's like, have fun in jail, dickweed, or whatever. Wanda and Agatha's flying laser battle continues. Agatha is starting to drain Wanda of her powers. Like, the more angry Wanda gets, the more power she's given her, and the more power she gives her, the more she drains from Wanda, and Wanda's becoming old, and her hands are going all black, and she's going all withered and all fucked up. But it's a double bluff, because Wanda has actually put runes on the whole of the outside of the hex, meaning that Agatha can no longer use her powers, and now Wanda is in control. So Wanda's like, boom, bitch, and becomes like the proper Scarlet Witch. This is like the origin of the Scarlet Witch, basically. So we get the full headdress, the full outfit that we're gonna be seeing her in future films, which is really cool. So she's gonna have the full proper, like, she's basically a proper full-on fledged superhero now. Whereas before, she was kind of like superhero in training because she couldn't control her powers and this shit. Now she's getting there. She's sort of like, I know what I'm doing a little bit more now. And she looked really good in the outfit, by the way. So Wanda drains all of Agatha's powers and leaves her cowering on the floor saying, please, please, I'll do anything. You know, you need me because I can help you understand your powers and blah, blah. And then Wanda's like, nah, I'm just gonna turn you into the nosy neighbor that character that you love so much. And so she turns her into the nosy neighbor. And then she's like, oakley dokley. So now the hex is continuing to shrink, and there's a limited amount of time that Wanda has left with her family, and she knows it, Vision knows it, and I think the kids know it as well. She tucks the kids up in bed and says a fond farewell to the kids. I love you kids, you're nice kids, etc. And then she has a lovely fond farewell to Vision. It's like, oh, you're a really nice Vision, it was nice knowing you, kind of thing, or some shit about love. And then they have a little kiss, and then he disappears and floats off into like bits and blah blah blah. The end. That's the end. No cameos, no Mephisto, none of all this speculation that we've had brewing in our little nerdy minds for so long have come to zero fruition, and we get none of it. Although, I think, watching it back, and I've watched the episode like 3 times now, I think it was a really good episode, and I don't think necessarily the criticism is deserved. I think they need to watch what they say in interviews and things like that, and press releases and stuff, because some of the stuff they said really did get us excited, and it really did lead us down wrong paths. And when that doesn't come to fruition, you feel let down and disappointed. Like the time Monica started going on about the aerospace engineer, and like nobody showed up. Everybody was like, what? Where was the aerospace engineer? We're looking for Reed Richards, somebody like that, or Hank McCoy, or somebody really big. Basically, we wanted like a big cameo that was going to be really cool and link it to X-Men or Multiverse of Madness, those sort of things. But because that didn't happen, it did leave a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth. But at the same time, rewatching the episode, it was really good, really well acted, really well executed. The budget was good, the effects were good. I mean, Agatha herself, I can't remember the name of the woman who played her, but she was really good. And just the way it's going to lead on into future MCU films is really good. So then we get the massive credits scene that we get, and then we get a little mid-credit scene. Sort of pointless, because I didn't really see the point in this one, but Monica, they're doing the debriefing with Sword, and Monica gets taken into the theatre to discuss stuff with one of the Sword officials, and the Sword official turns out to be a Skrull, and then we're like, oh, it's a Skrull. I mean, so... But basically setting up Monica going, all right, Monica Rambeau, you're going to have some future shit going on, which we sort of knew was going to happen anyway. So she's going to have some future stuff going on up with the Skrulls, probably in Captain Marvel 2. She's probably going to be in Captain Marvel 2. And then there's a really like end credit scene, which is my absolute favorite. We find Wanda in this like log cabin in the middle of nowhere, drinking a cup of tea, all peaceful and stuff. And then she goes indoors, and then you see her astral projection self, much like Doctor Strange, reading through the Darkhold, like learning her magic and shit, with arms and stuff going on, and she's just like... So that would have been a really cool point to just have a little cameo from Doctor Strange, I think, come in and go, I don't know, just say like, how's the training going, Wanda, or something like that. But no Doctor Strange at all. It really should have had a little tiny bit of Doctor Strange in it. But that ending was cool. Wanda looked really cool in that astral form, and it just looked really cool, and I love it. It looked cool. So overall, I absolutely loved the show. Weekly as it went on, the more we discussed it, the more fun it was. It was really something different from Marvel, something different from a superhero thing. Kevin Feige still is the man. He knows what he's doing. Yes, we were a little disappointed with like certain little aspects of it, you know, being let down with no big cameos and this, that, the other. But if you really sort of think about it, you didn't really need them. If you took the story as face value, I think, because if you're a comic book fan and you sort of know a little bit about the backstory and this, that, the other, you sort of expect certain things. But if you'd watched this cold and you weren't a big comic book fan and you just watched it, you'd go, that's a really good show. And it was a fantastic show. So I would give it 8.5 magical points out of 10. as a whole, because it really kept me entertained. So now next week we've got no WandaVision. The hell are we going to do for a whole week of nothing? It's like, but that particular week, I think they're doing like a behind the scenes of WandaVision. So I'll just watch the behind the scenes of WandaVision. And then the following week, we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is another Marvel series, which is going to be cool. And it's going to be a totally different animal, I believe. I think it's going to be more action based, but I can't wait for it. So, and then we'll just be talking about that loads. But Marvel, you're doing your thing and I love it. And I think you're still fantastic. Even though there was some slight disappointments in this final episode, overall, it was fantastic. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And I think it was great. I love you very much. Make mine Marvel. God bless. Goodbye.
Ralph Bonar?